Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vincent Jones. I'm back here again with the Secular Furry and Christian Otaku podcast. My co-host, Christian Anarchist, is AFK at the moment, but he'll be back here in a minute, which is all right. We're back again.
Oh, dear Lord. I just got done running away from the cops, man. I mean, they tried to cancel the show, but there was a big shootout. Don't worry, I used tranquilizer. I did not kill. Thou shalt not kill. And got away from most of them. So I'm hiding out right now while we do this podcast. So.
Well, I mean, if you have to leave suddenly, then we know why.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah, it's 2017. Glad 2016's over. A lot of things happened.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
So
how have you been, by the way? It's been a while since we've done one of these.
Yeah, I've been pretty good. Moved into a new place in October. Have been kind of recovering financially from that. Last month was weird financially. Still kind of trying to figure out exactly where my bills fall and whatnot. Just getting into my paychecks.
Yeah.
New job's working out good, although the 35-mile commute's kind of a bitch. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Aside from that, went to go see the doctor. Had a really nasty bout of depression and anxiety kind of stack up at the same time. In November, November's always a bad month for me because of personal issues and whatnot. So had a bad time there. Went to see the doctor. I've had a sleep study done since then. I haven't got the results back from then. May have sleep apnea. Don't know. My doctor wants me to talk to a bariatric surgeon for weight loss. So next time I see my primary, I'm going to talk to him about a referral to a bariatric surgeon. And then we just switched insurance companies, and I found out that, or the company I work for just switched insurance companies. We switched from the carrier we were with at the end of last year to a new carrier this month, which we'll have at least for this year. And these people actually cover the one or two medications that weren't covered by our previous plan. So I'm actually liking this better. So all in all, pretty good.
Pretty good. I've been dang it, get out of there's a fly in the way. I've been doing voice acting work as of lately. I've been doing the voice of Vegeta for Dragon Ball Super Abridged, so that's always fine and dandy.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's difficult though, trying to do the voice of Vegeta, and also in the new episode coming out, my voice as Tien kind of makes a short appearance, but I'm supposed to be working more as Tien the more the series goes on. But of course, with Vegeta, that's plenty difficult enough to work with.
Yeah, of course.
The voice is so hard. I mean, with the way I portrayed him, he's this egotistical kind of guy who, kind of has a sense of family, but it's mostly training, workout. One of the lines that I had to record was literally, "I'm sorry, I'm not the religious type. The only gods I worship are training and what Bulma does with her mouth." And honestly, that was a slightly uncomfortable thing for me to say, but hey, then I realized I'm another person when I'm saying this. I'm a character.
Yeah, you're playing a character. You're not saying it is you. That's true.
Exactly. Indeed. But I've had that going for me. Working more on the articles and the essays, of course, and been studying and reading more. So that's always good. Oh yeah.
I'm looking at actually picking up a few books and starting to read here.
Ooh, what you planning on reading?
Well, probably some Nietzsche, and there was a book at Books a Million on the philosophy of the samurai. I was looking at picking that up as well.
Nice. I've been seeing a lot of those philosophy things. By the way, if I end up having to say I need to leave at some point, it'll be probably for like 3 minutes because I just now remembered. Because note, I'm on my break at work, and sometimes on Sundays our sports guy likes to knock sports off, so we just pre-record it and then we can put it on the air.
Oh, no, I got you.
Yeah, so it won't take long. I'll be immediately right back afterwards. But great, I forgot what I was saying. I hate it when that happens. What was I saying?
I think we were on philosophy. So
yes, the philosophy. It's those philosophy books. I see the philosophy of The Walking Dead, the philosophy of the Sons of Anarchy, the philosophy of Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, all these kinds of different shows. You see them, and they have these philosophy books about them. I'm like, huh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the whole Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever read that, but that was actually pretty good too.
I haven't got a chance to read that one yet.
If you're mechanically inclined and you actually like fixing stuff, you can't necessarily read that book because, like, if it will drive you insane reading that book.
Is it complicated to understand?
Well, no. If you're reading it thinking that he's actually working on the bike to work on the bike, like, and you just want to fix what's wrong with it, like you can't do it because that's not what the book's about.
There's I remember there was one book that I got that was hard for me to understand, it was hard for me to read in general, and that was Jonathan Edwards' Freedom of the Will. My goodness, for a guy that wrote one of the most crazy sermons during the oldie English times, the sinners in the hands of an angry God, that sermon.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I used my English class. We had that in our English textbooks. We read part of that sermon thing, and it was like because somehow the sermon displayed this like unique literary style. And if you read Freedom of the Will, my goodness, he uses a large range of highly intellectual vocabulary that I almost did not understand what he was saying. So I'm gonna have to go back to it at some point because I only got like 5 pages into it before I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with this.
Hey, you got further in that I did in something else I tried to read recently. Well, within the last 6 months, I went back and tried to read it. I couldn't. I had tried to read it once before, and I was like, nope.
You ever?
What's up?
Oh no, I was about to say there was a show I've been starting to watch lately. You've heard of Berserk, right?
Yeah, I know Berserk.
So did you know that they revived the series?
I know they revived it. I haven't seen any of the new stuff.
Oh my man, it's good. And I tried to understand. I thought this was like just some new little story thing that they created, but no, they're actually picking up at right after where
the intro was on the first episode, basically.
Not just that, but they go back to it a bit, but they take something out of it, like the what's it the little snake, little king guy that contains the Bailet. You don't get to see that, but you get to see the whole bar scene again. But this time, the little fairy Puck is actually there, and he is the whole comic relief of the show. And so you have that. And it picks up on, I forgot what the arc is called, but you see Lady Farness, and then you go to see the tower where the Catholic Church is at, and then you see this weird priest named Father Mazguz, and he is very creepy, very, very creepy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, he's huge. He has a square for a head, and his sense of morality concerning how justice is to be delivered is beyond me. Like, is basically you see a lot of like the Spanish Inquisition type of scenery inside the tower because there's a lot of
They,
heretics in the area.
in a lot of, especially like with the Berserk, that's kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
A series that I'd like to see brought back and them to do a little more with would be like the Record of the Lotus Wars. Because like the original and then when they came back with I forgot what the second one was called, but when they did the second one, which was the TV show, it was pretty good. And then I think branching off in a different way from there, they did Escaflowne, and like then it's just you never kind of saw anything from that again.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, speaking of anime, at some point in March, I'm going to be heading to an anime festival.
Which one?
It's called the Louisiana Festival, so I'm going down to Louisiana again. It's in March.
Right.
It's in the middle of March. You have David Vincent's going to be there. From what I hear, he's the guy that did Grim Jow from Bleach, as well as a few other roles. And then some guy from Assassination Classroom named Eric Cherry.
Okay, I've heard the name.
Yeah, so those two are going to be there. And of course, I decided to just on my channel announce I'm an unofficial guest. I'm just going there, but I'm somewhat popular on the web, so.
Yeah.
But I won't be there.
I'm gonna try and make Megaplex this year in July. And then Red Frederick wants me to go up to New York with him if I can in April.
Good old Red.
Yeah, and I can keep him from getting food poisoning this time.
What, does he have a habit of doing that?
Well, on his last trip up to New York, he stopped in Maryland and stayed at a hotel right down the street from Dragnaut. And then went over to Drag's place. And then he's like, well, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get something to eat. Well, he decided since he likes Subway, and the closest Subway was a Subway in a Walmart, he should go to the Subway in Walmart and get food. And that didn't end well for him.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm going to go and get actual real food.
So, speaking of the food poisoning thing, I want to try something. This may be crazy, or stupid for that matter, but yeah, whatever. But anyways, do you think you're able to think of some random trivia questions, even if it's just something simple?
Define trivia questions.
I don't know, just literally about anything, even if it's something small, like 2 + 2 = 4, or something like that.
I can do random nerdy trivia questions for the most part. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So we're gonna try. So here we're gonna try some weird, stupid game, and what's gonna happen is that what I have in my hand is you can hear that. That's a toxic waste candy, and it's black cherry, which I hear is the sourest. and we're going to try to see if I can make clear answers to just random questions that Vincent's going to ask me to see if I can even say them with a comprehensible tone with this, because this is probably going to pucker me up pretty good. I hadn't had these in a while. So let me get this. And also, that's the other thing, trying to open this. I smashed my thumb a while back, so.
Yeah, I remember doing that.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Got you open, you little punk. All right, so black cherry, toxic waste, sour candy. Vincent, you got your first couple or few questions ready?
Yeah, I think I've got a couple.
All right, and yeah, just need anything, just go for something simple or stupid, because I'm pretty sure either way might sound funny once we start doing this. All right, here we go. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. First question is going to be, in what city do most John Waters films take place?
John Warfield.
Mhm.
Oh no, pass. Next one.
Okay. That answer would be Baltimore. Second one. In what city? What city is known as the Rock City?
Rock City. Was that New York?
Detroit.
Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What city is the live music capital of the world?
Oh, what? Las Vegas.
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. I suck at shit.
What city is known as the Big Apple?
Oh my god. Wait, New York.
Yep, that's it.
I was right about that. I knew you were doing something.
Okay. What state is known as the Sunshine State? California? Nope.
Dang it.
Florida. It's Florida.
Florida. Uh-huh.
What state is known as the Garden State?
Garden State. Wait a second. Anything have to do with Madison Square in that case? I'm sorry, I'm really terrible when it comes to the cities there.
Madison Square Garden is in New York City. The Garden State would be New Jersey.
No,
It's
New Jersey.
It's only the Garden State if you're throwing smokestacks.
No, if this was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I'd be gone of my money at this point.
Yep.
Well, at least we're training for it. But yeah, so the sour just went away. So I think out of all those questions, if this was Mastermind, I only scored 1 out of what, like 5 or 7?
1 out of I think it was 6. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Red's got it. He said New Jersey. So.
He what?
He got it in the live chat, so that's good.
Well, was he laughing at this whole thing or what?
He's been laughing some, yeah.
Dear God, he better. I don't know why, but as soon as I put that in, I was like, the back of my tongue started getting stab marks.
It happens.
Oh man.
You should probably start with warheads and work your way up to something that kind of sour.
Yeah, it's just I've had toxic waste before and steps, but it's the black cherry is the rarity, that's hard to find these days for me, anyways.
Yeah.
And I hear that it's you are in for a treat once it's in your mouth because it's really sour.
I can't do cherry candy. Something about the especially black cherry. Mm-hmm. Something about the artificial flavor they use in cherry specifically gives me a headache.
Oh yeah, I don't want that happening.
Yeah. But so the Holy Spackle had a hangout earlier, and they were talking about New Year's resolutions. I didn't make that because, well, I worked overnights and I was asleep. But Do you have any goals for this year for your YouTube channel and personally?
Planning on making more videos, of course, because I feel like I've lacked and slacked at times. Um, Adding content to the website because I've been trying to make tracks, but I've been slacking on that. Read more, start reading the Bible more. And I found a new plan that I've discovered from Ravi Zacharias. Read 2 chapters of the Old Testament, read 2 chapters of the New Testament, and going onward and going onward. So I think that's an interesting idea. And hopefully also the cliche workout uh, kind of thing, because I'm really starting to get that gut at this point.
Well, I mean, as far as working out goes, like in order to stay motivated to do that, something as simple as like I know you work in a building that's not necessarily on the ground floor. Do stuff like take the stairs instead of the elevator.
Mm.
Um, I mean, that it makes a difference. Trust me.
Yeah.
um, I work on a ground floor, but I've actually been I've been doing some walking, and then I'm actually on medication to help um, curb my appetite and stuff as well. So
Mm.
that's one of my goals is to lose some weight because it's actually my doctor's pretty sure it's killing me. So that's the thing.
Mm.
Um, he put me on a glucophage, which is basically to help control my blood sugar because I'm pre-diabetic. So if I don't lose weight, like I'll end up diabetic.
Mm.
So my goal for this year is lose hopefully at least 100 pounds. Um, and I say at least because like I really need to lose 2 to 250.
Mm. Well, good to
Um,
have the goals there, of course.
yeah, and then on top of that, I want to produce some more content for my YouTube channel. Even if it's not this channel, I have a channel specifically for atheist videos that I don't use.
Mm.
So I may use that and post some of the information regarding the rebuttals for intelligent design and things like that, so that information's out there and available for people. Because it surprised me. Like I talked to some people that I thought should know about things like the Dover trial and the Wedge document, and it surprised me that they didn't know those things. Because I thought that those kind of things were common knowledge, especially in this community.
Mm.
And so since that stuff's not as common as I thought it should be, I feel like I should make some videos about that. Um, I want to get a better understanding of a few things scientifically and make a video regarding like Thermus aquaticus and PCR and how it's a proof of common ancestry.
Uh-huh.
And just in general produce some actual content for my YouTube channel. I need to get some video editing software. I need to get an actual mic so I can stop using this terrible one that's built in my laptop. And so
one of my jobs, I take care of a client who, and that's the thing. I'm a caretaker, and one of the things I've noticed is that sometimes some of the people you work with can inspire you, even when they have what some society will call a bit of a disability.
mhm.
But my client is autistic, who, compared to me and Cliff, is a bit higher on the scale. And he was, he was overweight back then to a good degree, and he's managed to set up a schedule where he manages to work himself to the point of losing 70 pounds. And he's kept working on it since then. He's very glad of what he's done, and he's got this whole schedule. I see every time I come to his house and it's on the fridge, he'll count each day that he goes on the scale and tries to work on what his diet should be the next time. And lately it's been just drinking a Slim Fast for lunch and then waiting until dinner to eat. So but yeah, I mean, he's shown like he goes to do that for the diet. He works out at the medical mall area, so he just walks around and does this little fast running kind of thing, or not running, but more like walking, jogging kind of.
Yeah, like power walking.
Yeah, power walking. That's it. And you know, in a sense, that's also kind of inspired me. But it's like at the same time, I'm really trying to find ways where I think I can do this, because there's so many things I'm wanting to do, as well as working on the YouTube channel, is reading, it's trying to get more into the Bible, it's more studying on theology, blah 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 blah. Oh, so many things. But sometimes I don't even have time for that.
Yeah. There is time to do stuff. You just have to figure out where you can make it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, like, I can't go to the gym because I can't budget it, so I've been walking. If I could go to the gym and use a treadmill instead of walking, like, I could literally put a book on the treadmill and read while I was walking. Or jogging or whatever. At this point, I'm like 400 pounds, so I can't jog. But, you know, I've been making the time to like find music that I like, and listen to music, educate myself a little more in philosophy. I've been trying to learn a little bit more about street epistemology as well, because I like that approach to things.
Yeah.
Oh,
by the way,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that the philosophy thing. Apparently, I've got some rather interesting person on my channel who has made some comments. So you're familiar with the show I do, which is Ask Christian Anarchist, right?
Yeah.
So this guy who goes by the name, man, I don't know what's up with my throat today. Guy who goes by the name of Douglas MacArthur.
Like, is that his real name? Because that sounds like
no,
a troll.
I have no idea, because it's not a Christian. He's, from what I've understood, he's been in the Great Debate community thing that's on Steve McRae's Google Plus before. He's an atheist of sorts, and he says, another Matt Slick wannabe. You guys always want to set yourselves up as the experts, the guys with the answers for us average Joes. Well, you don't. You're confused and full of pride. So I basically tell him I never claim to be an expert, and he says,
Yeah.
well, you imply it.
No, you don't.
There you go. I got the atheist telling me.
Like, this guy's obviously confused about who you are and what you claim, because he's obviously wanting to say that you're claiming certitude about things, and you're not.
Yeah, he's like, you imply that it when you say in the title is Ask Christian Anarchist. Why would you set up a regular hangout topic with that title if you don't think you had answers?
Why do artists set up Ask Me Anythings for their characters that are fictitious? I mean,
Yeah.
the fuck? It's literally I'm asking you to ask me questions. I'm not saying, and I'm saying I will provide an honest answer. I'm not saying I know the answer to every fucking thing. I'm saying I will give you my answer and my opinion to your questions.
And then, yeah, and
Really
then
not a hard fucking concept.
yeah. So at some point, what was it? Um, he mentioned, he then comments on a video I did, which was the intro to my channel that you'll see on there, and he's like, "What a stupid video!" Because I'm like, "Whoa!" Now this guy's trying to find other videos so he can comment on. But he's like, "What a stupid video! Looks like someone's in love with the world." At this point, I knew I was dealing with someone who was at least a Christian to some degree. You must be more loving than God, CA, wishing peace for us all. According to your heresy, not even God wants that. Your belief is Calvinistic, but you talk like an Arminian or free willer. And
Yeah. He's trolling you.
yeah, at that point, I just replied saying, "I'm not more loving than God, sir. And how do you believe my view is a heresy? I don't care for labels. I care for what the Bible says. And depending on your definition of free will, Calvinism doesn't deny it." So kind of answers everything he just posted. And then he just says, "Look, mate, here you go again, trying to change the subject away from yourself." I'm like, so I don't know. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, he's at this point he was just trolling because I mean, when you're using a name for somebody that's just like a actual person that exists, because I remember one day I come up and
Well, if I remember correctly, that particular person is dead. But yeah.
yes, that too. But the other there was I forgot what his name was, but one day I was on YouTube and then all of a sudden I see I'm getting like I got 10 updates and there were a comment on one specific video. And it was from this guy on the Michael Heiser video that I posted on the flat Earth thing. And I had Eric Hovind show up in the beginning of it to point out a case, and all he said was, "You do realize Eric Hovind's not even a true Christian, right?" That's the same comment that was posted that 10 times, and then it was posted like 15 more times later throughout the day.
What?
I'm like, you do realize it's not going to go through no matter how many times you try to spam it, right?
If you have your comments on approval and you post a comment once and it didn't get approved, you don't need to bother trying to post it again.
Exactly. So.
Yeah.
Because I remember a similar guy tried doing that with this one King James only deal I put out. He just put the same stuff over and over again, and I told him to stop. Because literally, this was a guy who thinks that the reason why we can't trust a manuscript known as Codex Vaticanus is because it has the letters ANUS in it, which spells out anus.
Seriously?
I kid you not. That was literally his argument.
Dear God.
Because he's like, that's the Vatican trying to point out their fetish in a manuscript. And when I told him, okay, we'll at least provide actual, argumentation instead of just spamming stuff. And he said, this guy said to me that I pray that you die and go to hell.
That was
and this is a guy who claims to be a chaplain, by the way.
Yeah. There was an interesting thing going on in the New Covenant group tonight. I'll probably go back and watch it, where they were talking about hell.
Oh, New Covenant group, huh?
Yeah.
I did not know they were still around.
They are. They only had like 6 viewers when I was watching earlier, but I mean they're still around. Cliff Jumper was supposed to be on there tonight, so that's why I was checking it out.
So they on Hangouts now? Because I thought they were just like using this weird live streaming program that they were on.
They were doing a YouTube live stream, and then I believe they're using XSplit or something like that. And what they do is they do kind of like what Shadow Heathens does, and what Steve McRae's been doing lately is they use a corporate hangout. and then they have people call in via Skype or whatever, and they do it that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I've been like, there are times I've wanted to do things like that and get a nice chilling on shows like that.
I mean, you could contact the New Covenant group if you wanted to go on there, and I'm sure they would be happy to have you.
Yeah.
From what I understand, like, there's not really a whole lot of return for the effort that you put in, which is why people end up leaving. At least that's the impression that I've got from talking to people who have been affiliated with them in the past.
Right.
Is they put in a bunch of effort to like build up like their time slot on the New Covenant group and like have a show, and the amount of return that they got for their investment from said group was pretty much non-existent. So
Like define like what payment?
no, like as far as exposure or thanks or like hey, can I come on your show sometime, or like actual like promotion of their channel and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it all seemed to be pretty much one-sided, But yeah, since the last time we were on, a lot of stuff's happened. New Pokemon games came out. They're amazing.
Yes, and I'm sure you're all happy from head to toe.
You have no idea.
I may have some idea, but you're right. I may have not a complete one.
I haven't posted a QR code in a couple of weeks just because I've stopped kind of doing the that. I'll probably get back to doing it on my days off. And doing the island thing. But
Yeah. By the way,
this month,
I think I'm probably gonna cheat on Red's Rhetoric's videos for a bit.
cheat how?
Well, there's this new guy that's working on this flat Earth against type of material. Its name is Super Ad Blocker, and just because that the guy uses anime for his presentation deal, I'm like, well, that got me sold on the deal right there. Unless Red starts using more anime, if I need to go to any source for the refutation of flat Earth material, it's always going to be Super Ad Blocker until Red starts using anime.
Well, Reds has said he's probably going to focus less on flat Earth this year, and more on actual science and
was that a resolution as well?
That's what he had said in Spackle's Hangout. Is
nice.
He wants to focus less on like debunking complete and total artards, and more on actually like educating people on the science and filming rocket launches and being badass.
So kind of like an R and Raw, but more towards the space style.
Pretty much.
Nice. Yeah, I could get down with that, because when it comes to the space and the science thing, besides the look at how this mother effing thing works kind of thing, when he's refuting Jeranism, the science he actually can explain it to my level, and I'm very glad at that. And I think he could definitely do a lot of good for like people who want to understand this from a layman's perspective.
Yeah, and I mean he's currently working on with his current job. He can't he had to take the semester off from college, unfortunately, but he's working on getting his degree in as an aeronautics engineer. So he's taken a bunch of maths and stuff.
So basically, he's trying to get a degree in being a shill.
He's trying to basically get a degree in SpaceX.
There you go.
I'm not gonna lie. He wants to go work for SpaceX, so he's trying to get a degree in so he can go do that.
I remember seeing it. Who was it? It was a cool dude from YouTube, otherwise known as Breezy, the Brony on Gmod, and Breezy just ends up. They're trying to do a thing where they're trying to create a spaceship to go to Mars or something, and like, thank you for working with SpaceX. SpaceX takes care of all your needs, and the guy's like, "What? I thought I was working for NASA." It's like, SpaceX thanks you. Oh, I'm working for SpaceX. Oh, that changes everything. I'm like, oh, so that's, I guess now, right now, from what you told me, I guess they're like two separate space groups or something.
SpaceX is a private company that is owned by Elon Musk. They are completely and totally a for-profit corporation.
Mm.
They lease their launch site at Kennedy Space Center from the government,
Mm-hmm.
and so they do have a lease on that. But as far as the rocket propulsion, the Dragon spacecraft, all of their technology, they build most or all of that in-house at their facilities and then just transport it to Kennedy where it's assembled.
Yep. I just wish that sometimes I was like able to understand some of the space language these days. It's like, if I go into a Red's Rhetoric hangout, the only thing sometimes I can understand is whenever Red starts getting into like that angry bumpkin, you know, insult match. Other than that, then everything starts getting into like the space terminology of, physics and astronomy and all that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, where's my Star Trek translator when I need it?
It's not super hard to understand. I mean,
I know, it's just that, I mean, I never took the time to like learn like what specifically the terms mean, and I think that's what kind of helps me out a bit on that.
well, I mean, like a half hour in the Kerbal Space Program demo, and you'll know the terminology. And I mean, the Kerbal Space Program demo is free.
Well, may I give it a shot? Because literally, I was trying to think of something before I said something I'd regret. There was either shizatch or literally
You're
the next
you
phrase
like,
was snatch.
like apoapsis and periapsis and things like that.
Epilepsis.
Apoapsis.
Mm.
Um, Apoapsis and periapsis are the points in an orbit where you need to apply thrust to either make the orbit bigger or smaller.
Mm. Ooh. Here's something I just found out today. So apparently, I don't know where this place is, but there is a place that I found that serves cake. A specific. Hold on a second. Yeah, it looks like there's morning sports is about to get ready. But before I go, and this is something you can look up probably as well while I'm gone for a bit. But there's a place where there's a cake that costs $1,000, and this cake can feed up to 80 people. And it's basically like it's like a birthday gift themed cake where it's literally a huge box shaped cake, and along with it has its choice of cream filling and vanilla cake. It also has some candies on it, and has like the plastic paper wrappings for presents. It's like some kind of edible paper and pasta looking candy thing that's edible and just delicious. And even it comes with a hat, like a little birthday hat, that's also edible and sweet.
Oh, from Carlo's Bakery there in Hoboken.
I believe so. Yes, that's it. I think so.
Yeah, I call it the $1,000 cake.
Oh man. Oh, honestly, that is a cake that I don't care if it's for 80 people. I will stuff my face in it and make sure that my name is on that one. I if I get diabetes just from eating that, then I don't care. At least I'll say that I got it from being in heaven for a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
What
that's
do you like see a picture of it?
there's like 1,000 different pictures from Carlos here. Yeah.
Hmm. I'll have to find it when I get a chance. But I remember that BuzzFeed video did a did one on it.
I don't know. I want to try a pie cake in at some point.
Mm. Yeah,
Have you ever heard of the pie cake in?
sounds familiar.
What a pie cake is it's a you take like a pie, whatever kind of pie you want, cherry pie, blueberry pie, pecan pie, apple pie, whatever, right? And you put that inside of a cake dish, right? And then you take your cake and you take your cake mix and you pour it around the pie. And then you bake the cake with the pie inside of it. And you can do this in layers, so you can have like a double layer one, and yeah, it's called a pie cakein. So you have a cake that's baked that looks like a cake, and when you cut it open, there's pie inside of it.
Nice.
Yeah, that or
You hear that from Vincent going, yeah. Like he's like,
yeah,
oh, I know what I'm doing tonight. I'm gonna
that
treat
or
cake.
pizza cakes are cool too.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to get ready for knocking out this sports pre-recorded thing, so I'll be back in about 3 or 5 minutes. Oh, shit.
All right, and
All right, so I'll see you in a bit.
okay. All right, so while he's off doing that, we're gonna close the podcast out at 10, but so I guess I'm gonna try this solo for a few minutes. Um, Things that have gone on in the news recently. There was, of course, the Fort Lauderdale shooting. That was a terrible thing, and I honestly haven't done a lot of research on it yet. It seems like it was an issue where the gentleman was mentally ill. He put a firearm in his carry-on, or not in his carry-on, but in his luggage, and checked his bag, flew to Fort Lauderdale, and then after having picked his bag up, just decided to open fire in the luggage pickup area, which, people are going to say that people are going to make a big deal out of this for gun control and saying that we can't, we should have regulations as far as putting firearms in check bags. Seeing how most airports are laid out with the baggage check area in a area that's not behind a TSA checkpoint anyways, anybody could have walked off the street with their concealed carry or even their not concealed carry and open fire in an airport in that airport, or like in the Orlando airport, the baggage claim is literally right through the door. You could park your car and within 15 steps be inside and have something similar happen. So for the people, and like I said, I haven't done the research, so I don't know if anybody's saying this is going to be a thing where there's going to be a gun grab. But if anybody is saying that, it's a really stupid thing to be saying. Other things that have happened this week in the news. Honestly, I don't know. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. I know that as far as things that happened last month while we were not doing the podcast, there was a bill signed by the president that gives atheists and secular humanists the same protections under the law. And it was something that people kind of already thought was a thing, but I guess it wasn't. But the law gives atheists and secular humanists the same protections under the law as religious people, as far as the right not to be discriminated for jobs and things like that. So, yeah. Excuse me. Also to that also applies to hate speech as well. So it literally, unfortunately, I don't think anybody on the on the atheist side, unless they're a colossal dick, would use it the way that most people on the radical evangelical side seem to think that things like this will be used, and do the you preaching at me as hate speech thing. But it looks like it could technically be interpreted that way, because it looks like the broad strokes of the law state that if you are specifically talking to me and trying to convert me to your way of thinking, then that can be construed as hate speech. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that, but it's nice that the protections are there for things like employment and various other things, because I don't think that people should be allowed to go out in the street and rant and rave and threaten and essentially threaten people with eternal torture and have that go unchecked. So we'll see how that pans out in the future, if anything does come of it. As I said, I personally been looking into street epistemology. I'm gonna see if I can find a copy of a book. I believe it's by Peter Boghossian. I believe it's called A Manual for Creating Young Atheists. It's about their approach to street epistemology. They do have an app available on, I believe it's iOS and Android. I'm not sure about Windows Phone, called Atheos, for the approach to street epistemology, and I've been kind of going through that on my phone, even though my phone's really old and crappy. As I said, one of my goals for this year is to get in better shape. So what I may do for the podcast is, because I have medical expenses and I need to get myself in better shape before I take care of some of the other stuff. But what I'd like to do is, share my journey to a healthier lifestyle, to fitness, with people on this channel. So I may start a Patreon and then make a video of me at my current weight and whatnot and stick it up and ask for anybody that wants to support me that way, so that I can do things like go to the gym, start swimming laps again. If I can get a GoPro, like, set up GoPro so, I can make videos of me doing this kind of stuff, as far as swimming laps, maybe eventually, riding bicycle, stuff like that. And hopefully over the next year, improving my lifestyle and my quality of life. And as well as going out there and engaging with people, because I think if I feel better about who I am, physical appearance wise, then I'll feel more confident talking to people. When I say I have other medical expenses, I mean things like my teeth. I have a tooth that's dead on the one side that needs to come out, and some teeth around it that have rotted out, that chunks of them need to be dug out of my gums and stuff, and some that need a prosthesis there. I'm not going to ask for anybody's help paying for that unless it becomes a thing that needs to happen faster than I can get it taken care of. I've got insurance, but even with insurance, it's been not good. The last quote I got, like I said, the company I was with just switched insurance carrier, so I'll have to go back to the dentist. But the last quote I got, and I think it was November, was like $6,000 for everything. So I'm gonna go and talk with them again and see, since I switched insurance companies, if it's changed. But we're rolling up on the hour here quickly. I know we didn't really have many people watch this live, so that's the thing. We'll be doing another one next week, most likely same time. Hopefully I'll be a little more better research next week, so we'll actually have some news stories and stuff to talk about. This week was just us catching up and talking about our plans for the next year. Hopefully I'll be doing I'll be having some videos here in the near future. Hopefully by the end of March, on intelligent design, specifically the Dover trial and what happened there, the opinion Judge Jones wrote and how he wrote it, why he came to that conclusion, as well as the Discovery Institute and the Wedge document, what it says, and why most people tend to think what they do, that they're not a scientific organization. I will probably also look into the Center for Creation Research, or no, Institution for Creation Research, I'm sorry, ICR, and go through their finances with everybody, because it's something that needs to be brought up again. I don't think it's really been gone over really well since like Don X's 2 did it, so I'll be going over that again. But as far as that, the podcast, we're gonna try and keep away from a lot of that stuff and keep it a dialogue between us two. We're gonna try and get some guests on. Like Christian Anarchist said, possibly a DJ or two from Ferocity Radio. I'm gonna try and get some artists here locally. Maybe one of the event organizers for Megaplex, which is a local convention here. Since he gave me the name of the convention he's going to, maybe the one of the organizers for that too, or at least one of the staff members, just to do a promo for that. We'll probably do some more anime segments. I may get dragged out to come on and talk some science. We'll see how it goes, but we're going to do a little more variation here, science, news, and whatnot, furry stuff as well as anime stuff. And it should be interesting. Well, this has been our first show of the new year. I wish everybody a wonderful night, and I'm sure Christian Anarchist would say Shalom Aleichem and peace to everyone, because he wishes that to everyone. I do as well. As a safe and happy new year, and I'll see y'all again next week.